Hare Krishna to all devotees, Dhanvat Pranam, Jai Shri Prabhupada. Hari Bol to Vishwanath Prabhuji for leading us through chanting this morning. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshuvamilitamena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gaurvani Pacharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschat Deshtarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna. Okay, so I posted the link in the chat for our bhajans and our reading of Krishna book. Let me share the screen. Would anybody like to sing today? Okay, then I'll continue. So we'll sing and then you can read the translation. Sarvasvatomar charani sampiya purichitomara ghare. Sarvasvatomar charani sampiya purichitomara ghare. Tumi to Thakur tomara kukur. Tumi to Thakur tomara kukur. Boliya jana ho more, boliya jana ho more. Bandhiya nikate hamare palibe, rahibo tomara dware. Pratip jane re asite na dibo, rakhibo gadera pare. Tava nija jana प्रसाद सेविया उचिष्ट राखी बेजा हमारा भोजन परम आनंदे प्रतिदिन हबेता बुशिया शुइया तुम्हारा चरण चिंती सतत आमी नाचीते निकटे जाइबो चखो न डाकिबे तुमी निजेरा पोषण कभु न भाविबो रोहिबो भावेर भोरे भक्ति विनोद तोमारे पालक बोलिया वरण कोरे विनोद सेवक तोमारे पालक बोलिया वरण कोरे हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. श्रील भक्तिवेदांत ठाकुर की जय. श्री शरणागति की जय. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Okay, anybody would like to take up the service of reading the translation?
I can read, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Pawan Prabhuji, yes, please.
Now that I have surrendered all I possess, I fall prostrate before you, your house. You are the Supreme Lord. Kindly consider me your household dog. Number 2. Claim me nearby and maintain me as you will. I shall remain at the doorstep and allow no enemies to enter your house. I will keep them at the bounds of the most surrounding your home. Number 3. Whenever remnants your devotees leave behind after honoring your prasada will be my daily sustenance. I will feast on those remnants with great ecstasy. Number 4, while sitting up, while lying down, I will constantly meditate on your lotus feet. Whenever you call, I will immediately run to you and dance in rapture. I will never think of my own maintenance, but rather remain transported by multitude of ecstasies. Bhakti Vinoda accepts you as his only support. Hare Krishna.
Jai Hare Krishna. Thank you, Pawan Prabhuji. Anything you want to share that you like from this bhajan?
It's it's the devotion is saying to the Lord that I will be surrendered completely and without any reservation. Whatever the will you have, I will obey that. Whether and you should not worry about my well-being. I will be fine. Whatever leftover prasada, that will be enough for me. Um, It's totally surrendered in lotus feet of Lord. That's the substance of this prayer is. Bhakti Vinoda Thakur maintains that that will be enough for me and I will be happy being in that status. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji. Yes, again, kind of touching, like what you said, complete surrender. That's why this Goptritve Varana, which is like accepting Krishna as your only maintainer, that is the theme of this bhajan, right? This is one of the 6 limbs of Sharanagati, where we accepting Lord Krishna as our only maintainer, right? So once we have this, then all the other limbs of Sharanagati will automatically naturally follow after this, which is like we will become humble because we know that we are like a dog. Like if we have that humility like a dog, then everything that is coming to me is by the mercy of the Lord. Then automatically we'll become humble, right? Then we will automatically do everything for the Lord. That is Atmanivedan. Use our body, mind, and words for the Lord. We will always ensure that Krishna will be our protector because if he is maintaining us, then he'll also protect, right? So like this planet, we see so many species are there, from insignificant ant up to the elephant, right? We only eat few grams or few kgs of food every day. An elephant eats like quintals, right? Like he eats thousands of kgs of food. But where is that food coming from? Is anybody going in the jungle and giving the elephant food? He's automatically getting it. The Lord is providing it, right? So it doesn't matter if if the lion, elephant, any species, for everybody, the Lord is providing. So Lord is the maintainer, Lord is the protector. And then of course, once we have this, then we'll do things that are favorable for bhakti. We'll understand our position of the Lord, and our relationship, eternal servitor relationship, and we will always do things that are favorable for bhakti, and we will reject things which are unfavorable for bhakti. So yeah, that is why this limb of bhakti this limb of Sharanagati is very, very significant. And yes, that is similar mood that again Krishna is purchased by the love, by the mood of humility, by mood of surrender of his devotees. Right? That is the last instruction in Bhagavad Gita. That sarvadharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshashyami ma shucha. So I will clear you of all the anarthas. Just surrender unto me. Right? This is the last instruction that Krishna gives to Arjuna and to all of us through the medium of Arjuna. So if we are able to achieve Sharanagati, we are all like on different percentages. If there are 6 limbs, we can see, like if you have to divide 100 by 6, it will approximately be 16%, right? So like everything is, each one of these limbs of Sharanagati, there's a weightage for these, right? But we can observe, we can instead of comparing ourselves with others, we can observe in our own lives how much surrendered we are on each of these limbs of Sharanagati. Right? And that is what again purchases the Lord, like we saw in the example of of Rukmini Devi yesterday, that Rukmini, like Krishna says at the end that, you know, you had not even seen me, you just heard about me, right? So again we see the importance of Shravanam, how important Shravanam is. He's saying you had only heard about me, right? And so much of faith you had in me that you wanted me as your husband. And even when all these other princess Rajkumars were there with all the material wealth and name and fame and beauty and whatnot, still you didn't choose any of them. You just chose me as your husband, right? That was one instance. And then he says that, you, when your brother was being killed or being humiliated, again you didn't speak even a single word because you wanted to, didn't lose my association. You didn't want to lose my company, right? So she was so surrendered that she didn't even speak a single word, but she was just, so surrendered to the Lord just by the process of Shravanam, by hearing about the Lord. So that is, and Krishna says at the end, that has purchased me. That love, will always remain within my soul. Krishna, who is the super soul, who is the super battery of all of our batteries. Like if our souls is our battery, he is like the battery of the battery. And he's saying that, that love will always remain within my soul. So how powerful and potent that statement is from the Lord, that the love of his pure devotees is what captures him. Not only captures him, but forever it is captured within the soul of his heart. So that is that much power, pure love has. So what to speak of, other things. So yeah, so that is kind of what we have to learn from Rukmini Devi. Okay, so let's continue chapter 61. Thank you, Pawan Prabhuji, again for reading today. Anybody else would like to read Krishna book? So we saw this, the genealogy is what we are continuing. Krishna, 16,108 queens, each one had 10 sons, and they had like more than billion members now in the family, sons, grandsons, great grandsons. And Parikshit Maharaj now asked Sukadeva Goswami, how did Krishna's family and Rukmini's family still marry, even though they were envious of each other? Yes. Anybody would like to read?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Mataji. Aarti Mataji, please.
Okay. Pradyumna, the eldest son of Krishna, born of Rukmini, was Cupid himself. He was so beautiful and attractive that the daughter of Rukmi, namely Rukmavati, could not select any husband other than Pradyumna during her Swayambar. Therefore, in that selection meeting, she garlanded Pradyumna in the presence of all the other princes. When there was a fight among the princes, Pradyumna came out victorious, and therefore Rukmi was obliged to offer his beautiful daughter to Pradyumna. Although enmity always glazed in Rukmi's heart because of his having been insulted by Krishna's kidnapping of his sister Rukmini, Rukmi could not resist consenting to the marriage ceremony just to please Rukmini when his daughter selected Pradyumna as her husband. And so Pradyumna became the son-in-law as well as the nephew of Rukmi. Beside the 10 sons described above, Rukmini had one beautiful daughter with big eyes, and she was married to Kritvarma's son, whose name was Bali. Although Rukmi was a veritable enemy of Krishna, he had great affection for his sister Rukmini and wanted to please her in all respects. On this account, when Rukmini's grandson Anirudh was to be married, Rukmi offered his granddaughter Rochana to Anirudh. Such a marriage between immediate cousins is not very much sanctioned by Vedic culture, but in order to please Rukmi offered his daughter and granddaughter to the son and grandson of Krishna, respectively. In this way, when the negotiation of the marriage of Nirud with Rochana was complete, a big marriage party accompanied Anirudh and started from Dwaraka. They traveled until they reached Bojapta, which Rukmi had colonized after his sister had been kidnapped by Krishna. This marriage party was led by the grandfather, namely Lord Krishna, accompanied by Lord Brahma, and it included Krishna's first wife, Rukmini, his son Pradyuman, Jambati's son Samba, and many other relatives and family members. They reached the town of Bojakta, and the marriage ceremony was peacefully performed. The king of Kalinga was a friend of Rukmi's and gave him the ill advice to play chess with Balram and thus defeat him in a bet. Among Kshatriya's kings, gambling on chess was not uncommon. If someone challenged a Kshatriya to play on the chessboard, the Kshatriya could not refuse the challenge. Sri Balramji was not a very expert chess player, and this was known to the king of Kalinga. So Rukmi was advised to retaliate against a family member of Krishna by challenging Balram to play chess. Although not an expert chess player, Sri Balramji was very enthusiastic in sporting activities. He accepted Rukmi's challenge and sat down to play. Betting was with gold coins, and Balram first of all challenged with 100 coins, then 1000 coins, then 10,000 coins. Each time Balram lost, and Rukmi was victorious. Sri Balram's losing the game was an opportunity for the king of Kalinga to criticize Krishna and Balram. Thus, the king of Kalinga was talking jokingly while purposefully showing his teeth to Balram. Because Balram was the loser in the game, he was a little intolerant of the sarcastic joking words and became somewhat agitated. Rukmi again challenged Balram and made a bet of 100,000 gold coins, but fortunately this time Balram won. Nonetheless, one of cunningness, Rukmi claimed that Balram was the loser and that he himself had won. Because of this lie, Balramji became most angry with Rukmi. His agitation was so sudden and great that it appeared like a tidal wave in the ocean on a full moon day. Balram's eyes are naturally reddish, and when he became agitated and angry, his eyes became more reddish. This time he challenged and made a bet of 100 million coins. Again, Balram was the winner according to the rules of chess, but Rukmi again cunningly claimed that he had won. Rukmi appealed to the princes present, and he especially mentioned the name of the king of Kalinga. During the dispute, there was a voice from the sky, and it announced that for all honest purposes, Balram was the actual winner of this game, that he was being abused, and that the statement of Rukmi that he had won was absolutely false. In spite of this divine voice, Rukmi insisted that Balram had lost, and by his persistence, it appeared that he had death upon his head. Falsely puffed up by the ill advice of his friend, he did not give much importance to the oracle and he began to criticize Balramji. He said, "My dear Balramji, you two brothers, cowherd boys only, may be very expert in tending cows, but how can you be expert in playing chess or shooting arrows on the battlefield? These arts are well known only to princely orders." Hearing this kind of pinching talk by Rukmi and hearing the laughter of all the other princes present there, Lord Balram became as agitated as burning cinders. He immediately took his club in his hand and without further talk struck Rukmi on the head. From that one blow, Rukmi fell down immediately and was dead and gone. Thus, Rukmi was killed by Balram on that auspicious occasion of Anirudh's marriage. These things are not very unknown in Shastriya society. The king of Kalinga, afraid that he would be the next one attacked, fled from the scene. Before he could escape even a few steps, however, Balramji immediately captured him, and because the king had always shown his teeth while criticizing Balram and Krishna, Balram broke all the king's teeth with his club. The other princes Sporting the king of Kalinga and Rukmi were also captured, and Balram beat them with his club, breaking their legs and hands. They did not try to retaliate, but thought it wise to run away from the bloody scene. During this strife between Balram and Rukmi, Lord Krishna did not utter a word, for he knew that if he supported Balram, Rukmini would be unhappy, and if he said that the killing of Rukmi was unjust, then Balram would be unhappy. Therefore, Lord Krishna was silent on the death of his brother in law Rukmi on the occasion of his grandson's marriage. It did not disturb his affectionate relationship with either Balram or Rukmini. After this, the bride and bridegroom were ceremoniously seated on the chariot and they started for Dwarka, accompanied by the bridegroom's party. The bridegroom's party was always protected by Lord Krishna, the killer of the Madhuriman. Thus they left Rukmi's kingdom, Bojakta, and happily started for Dwarika. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport of the 61st chapter of Krishna, the genealogy of the family of Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Chapter 62, the meeting of USA.
Usha.
Prabhuji.
Usha.
Usha, okay. The meeting
Ooh,
of Usha.
this like we said in Sanskrit we read, right? This is badi matra. So oo ke upar badi matra. Ooh, sha, usha.
Okay. The meeting of Usha and Aniruddha. The meeting of Anirudh and Usha, which caused a great fight between Lord Krishna and Lord Shiva, is very mysterious and interesting. Maharaj Parikshit was eager to hear the whole story from Sukhdev Goswami, and the Sukhdev narrated it. My dear king, you must have heard the name of King Bali. He was a great devotee who gave away in the charity all that he had, namely the whole world, to Lord Vaman, the incarnation of Vishnu, as a dwarf Brahmana. King Bali had 100 sons, and the eldest of all of them was Banasura. This great hero, Banasura, born of Maharaj Bali, was a great devotee of Lord Shiva and was always ready to render service unto him. Because of his devotion, Banasur achieved a great position in the society and he was honored in every respect. Actually, he was very intelligent and liberal also, and his activities are all praiseworthy because he never deviated from his promise and word of honor. He was very truthful and fixed in his vow. In those days, he was ruling over the city of Sonitapura. By the grace of Lord Shiva, Banasur had 1,000 arms and he became so powerful that even demigods like King Indra were serving him most obediently. Long ago, when Lord Shiva was dancing in his celebrated fashion called Tandav Naritya, for which he is known as Nataraj, Banasur helped Lord Shiva in his dancing by rhythmically beating drums with his 1,000 hands. Lord Shiva is well known as Ashutosh, very easily pleased, and he is also very affectionate to his devotees. He is a great protector for person who takes shelter of him and is master of all living entities in this material world. Being pleased with Banasur, he said, "Whatever you desire, you can have from me, for I am very much pleased with you." Banasur replied, "My dear lord, if you please, you can remain in my city just to protect me from the hands of my enemies." Once upon a time, Banasur came to offer his respect to Lord Shiva. By touching the lotus feet of Lord Shiva with his helmet, which was shining like the sun globe, he offered his obeisances unto him. While offering his respectful obeisances, Banasur said, "My dear Lord, anyone who has not fulfilled his ambition will be able to do so by taking shelter of your lotus feet, which are just like a desired tree, from which one uh, from which one can take anything he desires." My dear Lord, You have given me 1,000 arms, but I do not know what to do with them. They are simply a burden. I cannot use them properly in fighting, since I cannot find anyone competent to fight with me except your lordship, the original father of the material world. Sometimes I feel a great tendency to fight with my arms, and I go out to find a suitable warrior. Unfortunately, everyone flees, knowing my extraordinary power. Being baffled at not finding a match, I satisfy the itching of my arm by beating them against the mountains. In this way, I tear many great mountains to pieces. Lord Shiva realized that his benediction had become troublesome for Vanasura and addressed him. You rascal, you are very eager to fight, but since you have no one to fight with, you are distressed. Although you think that there is no one in the world to oppose you except me, I say that you will eventually find such a competent person. At that time, your days will come to end, and your flag of victory will no longer fly. Then you will see your false prestige smashed to pieces. After hearing Lord Shiva's statement, Vanasur, who was very much puffed up with his power, became elated that he would meet someone able to smash him to pieces. Vanasur then returned home with great pleasure, and he always waited for the day when the suitable fighter would come to cut down his strength. He was such a foolish demon. It appears that foolish demonic human being, when unnecessarily overpowered with material opulences, want to exhibit these opulences, and such foolish people feel satisfaction when these opulences are exhausted. The idea is that they do not know how to expend their energy for the right cause, being unaware of the benefit of Krishna consciousness. Actually, there are two classes of men. One is Krishna conscious, the other is non Krishna conscious. The non Krishna conscious men are generally devoted to the demigod, whereas the Krishna conscious men are devoted to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Krishna conscious person utilize everything for the service of Lord. The non Krishna conscious person utilize everything for self sense gratification. And Banasur is the perfect example of such a person. For his own satisfaction, he was eager to utilize his extraordinary power to fight. Not finding any combatant, he struck his powerful arms against the mountains, breaking them to pieces. In contrast to this, Arjuna also possessed extraordinary power for fighting, but he utilized them only for Krishna. Shall I stop here, Prabhuji?
Yeah, we can stop here, Mataji. Thank you for reading so nicely.
Thank you,
Yes.
Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Banasur. Hare Krishna. Anything you want to say or share? What you like
Yes,
from today's reading?
Prabhuji, this paragraph where Prabhupaji is saying that Krishna conscious person, they utilize or they surrender everything for the service of Lord, and non Krishna conscious persons, they are like demon Banasur who wants self who utilize everything for sense gratification. So in this story, he was not satisfied even though he had power or benediction given by Lord Shiva, but he was still not satisfied, and was he had so much pride that he don't have any competent with whom he can fight. So Lord Shiva warned him that he will find it soon, and then his days will be close to his days will be his it will be close to end. And then in last chapter, in previous chapter, we read that how Balramji got agitated, and how he killed Rukmi and all the princes who supported him. And I had few questions, but later on while reading, I got the answer where Prabhupada was saying that it is not in Vedic scripture, it is not allowed to marry between the close cousins, but for Lord he married like in with his cousins, like he was grandfather. He married his grandson to Rukmis, and so it was written in Vedic scripture, but I think for Lord it is possible. Am I right, Prabhuji? Because I had I had that question, that how can uh, they marry in the family? So yeah, for Lord it is possible. And also we read how all the princes they met because they supported wrong, so they met with their ends. You can add more, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Hare Bol. Thank you for giving me opportunity to read this wonderful reading today.
Thank you, Mataji. More than adding, you're helping us subtract our anarthas, so that is more important. Just add Krishna and subtract all the anarthas. Yes. No, thank you for sharing. I was just like, when you were reading, I was laughing at that statement as soon as when Lord Shiva was saying, "You rascal." I was remembering of Prabhupada. Prabhupada will always say that, "You rascal." So, and before that, just before that, in the purport, he had mentioned that because Lord Shiva is the supreme master of all the living entities in the material world, right? So yeah, supreme master is also like a supreme spiritual master kind of thing, because he's Vaishnava Namyata Shambho. So yeah, he's a Param Vaishnava, and he is chastising his followers. Like mostly all the demons, they go after Shivji because it's very easy to please Shivji, right? Because he's Ashutosh. So that's why we see Shivji के जो भक्त हैं वो सारे वैसे ही होते हैं सारे, right? So but still he's so merciful that he it's like they come to him for things and he quickly gives them. You take it, don't disturb don't disturb me, let me be in my japa, in my meditation of Lord through his holy names. He's chanting the Lord's holy names always. So whoever comes to him, he quickly gives them whatever they need and then just get out from here, right? So that kind of mood is what Lord Shiva is in. But that was funny that he was saying, "You rascal, you want to," he wanted to fight with. That's like the same thing that Bhubhasmasura Kartha, right? He after getting benediction from Shivji, that he can destroy anybody by placing his hands on their head. Then he wanted to test, okay, where should I test now? So he wanted to test it on Lord Shivji itself. So then at that time Shivji started running, and Krishna came to save him at that time as Mohini. But yeah, that's how simple, and that's why we call him our sweet Bhole Baba. But yeah, that was one thing. And then yeah, like you said about the killing of Rukmi, it is also very, again, very practical for us to apply in our life. Banasur, first of all, Banasur's thing and Rukmi's life, like what when we have, like Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, when we have lust for anything, then that leads to more hankering, right? It leads to, and when that lust is satisfied, then we become happy, but then we also become greedy for more, right? And if it is not satisfied, then we become angry, right? So it is like that, all these anarthas, the lust, anger, greed, pride, envy. So Banasur was the classic example of that lust. He got it fulfilled, then he wanted more. Now he wanted somebody to fight with, and he's asking Shivji itself to fight again. And on the other side, Rukmi, he had so much of envy, and that envy was so hard to uproot, right? Even though his daughter was married to Krishna's family, his sister was married, then his daughter were married, and still he had so much of envy in his heart against Balaramji and Krishna that he wanted them. He was making fun of them, teasing them, and even claiming a false victory when he was a loser. So again, that's very, very important for us also, that these anarthas are very, very deep rooted, and if we don't pluck them out at the right time, then if they continue to grow, like here it was growing across generations, right? Even though he had been humiliated by Krishna when Krishna was taking away Rukmini, that time he had lost the battle to Krishna, and later again with all these things, still after so many generations also he was still having that envy in his heart. So again, it's a very powerful lesson for us that if we allow envy towards the Lord or towards His devotees to grow in our heart, then it will result in basically destruction of our spiritual life. So yeah, that's also a very, very important lesson, that yeah, we should not be envious. As soon as we realize like that, we should try to pluck out that anartha from our heart. So yeah, so many things else can be said, but yes, anybody else would like to say or share anything?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Sangeeta Mataji.
Last paragraph who said that how to if you have a power and money, don't only the Krishna consciousness persons are utilize them in that the right directions. So मैं एक रिलेट करना चाहती हूँ, मैं पता नहीं वो सही होगा गलत होगा, कि जब कृष्ण ने कर्ण को वो समझाया कि तुम अपने धनुष छोड़ दो, अर्जुन को जीतने दो, तो जो बैटल फील्ड में ऐसा हुआ था महाभारत में, कुरुक्षेत्र में, तो कर्ण ने बोला अगर मैं सब कुछ छोड़ दूंगा तो अर्जुन जीत जाएगा, तो मैं कैसे श्रेष्ठ धनुर्धर बनूंगा। तो कृष्ण ने उसी टाइम उनको समझाया था कि अगर तुम सब छोड़ दोगे तो श्रेष्ठ धनुर्धर बन सकते हो, क्योंकि पहले से ही तुमने बहुत पाप किया है। यू हैव ए पावर, तुम्हारे पास बहुत पावर था, एंड यू हैव ए द कैपेबिलिटी टू यूटिलाइज योर लाइक तुम्हारा जो शक्ति था वो ठीक डायरेक्शन में राइट डायरेक्शन में ले सकते थे, पर तुमने रॉन्ग डायरेक्शन में लिया कि दुर्योधन का साथ दे दिया, क्योंकि तुम्हें राज्य चाहिए था और यू नीड टू गेट द मोर मनी एंड द पावर। सो इसलिए तुमने जो जो पाप किया था, अगर आज तुम धनुष छोड़ दोगे तो अर्जुन को जीतने दोगे तो वो मिट जाएगा, और यू हैव टू वे, क्योंकि एक श्रेष्ठ धनुर्धर जब सब कुछ छोड़ देता है और दूसरा उसको अटैक करके मार देता है, तो वो दूसरा जो अटैक करके मारता है वो श्रेष्ठ धनुर्धर नहीं है, तुम रिकॉग्नाइज होगे कि ये कर्ण सबसे श्रेष्ठ धनुर्धर था। तो कर्ण ने वही किया। तो जब हम लोग मतलब कृष्णा की बात मानकर कर्ण जब चलने लगा तो उन्होंने वो श्रेष्ठ धनुर्धर बने। तो वही मैं सोच रही हूँ कि हम लोग इफ वी हैव इन द कृष्ण कॉन्शियसनेस एंड वी हैव दैट द follow the path of the spiritual master within the and going in the right direction, then we are our soul will be pure. हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी, बस मैं नहीं जानती वो रिलेट हो पा रहा है कि नहीं हो रहा है।
No, nahin, but whatever, ultimately, yes, we have to follow Krishna's instructions. So what you're saying is, I'm not familiar with that pastime, Mataji, but yeah, अल्टीमेटली वही जैसे बोलते हैं कि अगर आपके गुरु आपको कुएं से भी खाई से भी कूदने का बोले, तो यू शुड बी रेडी टू डू दैट, राइट? सो that is the amount of surrender that you should have in the words and instructions of your guru. So yes, there should not be any question of kintu parantu नहीं होना चाहिए फिर. It's of course here when Krishna is saying you to do something, then yes, just by following Krishna's instructions, you will become you'll become the best in anything, right? So similarly, following Krishna and following Krishna's devotees, pure devotees' instructions, we can perfect our life. So yeah, that's why we again and again we say the same thing कि following Prabhupada खुद बोलते थे कि more than Vapu, Vani is important, right? Because Vani is eternal. जो शब्द हैं जो गुरु श्री गुरु के वो eternal हैं. तो अगर हम ये रोज पढ़ते हैं, इनको जितना हो सके मनन करना चाहिए और जितना हो सके अपने जीवन में उतारना चाहिए, right? So of course just Shravan itself is very very important, like we said again we say the same thing. रुक्मिणी ने सिर्फ सुना भगवान के बारे में, सुन के ही उन्होंने परफेक्शन कर लिया, पाप प्राप्त कर लिया. परीक्षित महाराज ने सिर्फ सुना, टाइम भी नहीं था उनके पास अप्लाई करने के लिए, कुछ 7 दिन के बाद तो चले गए वो, but still he became perfect, right? So just hearing itself is so potent, because hearing attentively will automatically increase our desire and will increase our perfection in all the other limbs of bhakti also. जब हम अच्छे से सुनेंगे तो अपने आप हमारा कीर्तन भी अच्छे से होगा, अपने आप हमारा स्मरण भी अच्छे से होगा, सब कुछ अच्छे से होगा. इसलिए बोलते हैं कि जो अच्छे से, मैंने एक बार वो वीडियो भी एक ऑडियो शेयर किया था राधा गोविंद महाराज का, ग्रुप में जब वो बोल रहे थे कि जपा इज द स्टैंडर्ड ऑफ भक्ति. इफ योर जपा इज स्ट्रांग, लाइक इफ योर श्रवणम एंड कीर्तनम is strong, then all the other limbs of bhakti सब कुछ अपने आप अच्छे से होगा. तो आप भागवतम सुन रहे हो वो भी अच्छे से होगा, अगर आप कोई सेवा कर रहे हो वो भी अच्छे से करोगे, राइट. हर चीज़ आपका अच्छे से होगा अगर आपका श्रवणम और कीर्तनम अच्छे से चल रहा है तो. So yeah, that is the power of following the instructions. So इसलिए ये वाणी, this वाणी of Srila Prabhupada and our acharyas, भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर जी हम सॉन्ग्स सुनते हैं, पढ़ते हैं रोज. And this is the essence of the Vedas. It's very very powerful to cleanse our heart. So yeah, we should just attentively hear, and then, if possible during the day, yeah, we should meditate on what we heard today, what we read today, and see, is there anything that I can apply in my life. So that should be our daily endeavor. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Okay, so let's pause here. It was nice that we were reading. Balram ji ko aaj gussa aaya. Achha, it was good because next week unka parents day hai. So hopefully, he'll be shant by then. So yes, we'll be celebrating Balaram Purnima next week. But it was nice to read this pastime of Lord Balaram ji today. So may we all be able to please Balaram ji and please our Guru Varga by following their instructions. And that should be our prayer and mood. And we'll pause here. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyaiva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Anantakoti Vaishnavrinda ki jai. Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Shri Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead ki jai. Thakur Premanande. Hari Hari Bol.
Hare Hare Bol. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hari Bol, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.